Let me tell you a little bit about System 9. So while I was in Denmark, the Danish Federation want me to teach this to the whole of the coaches over there, or every single head coach. Hungary want me to go over there and do it as well. I've got 5 clubs now in the UK that use System 9 at the same time, which is really, it's just a progression of how to teach red, orange and green players. But while I was in Denmark, I came up with this, I love writing things down. I came up with these little progressions or stages of how a kid gets into tennis and stays in tennis. And the first one is obviously you've got to get the kids in. And you've got to make it fun. Now, Anne already said that on the view or the slides earlier on, that you've got to make it fun for the kids when they come for their 1 hour lesson. I've never thought of it that they're 6 days and 23 hours away from doing their next lesson. But part of the System 9 setup is you give them homework to do. That's why I like the parents on the court or near the court, because they understand what the homework is. So your job's to give them homework, but you've got to make it fun, because what we're trying to do for the kids, we're trying to make them fall in love with the sport. Because there's so many other sports out there that they could go off and do. How easy it is just to put off, and girls love football at the moment in the UK. How easy is it for a girl just to go off and play football instead? Because it's more fun. Or they're with their friends. A big thing to get the friends of friends of friends coming to the club. It does make a big difference. You've got to get the kids to fall in love with the sport. And this is what we're going to cover a bit earlier on. And we're going to make the kids quite competitive. Anne had that up there as well, didn't she? About you've got to teach them how to win and lose. We do that straight from the word go, without them realising, which is quite good. You will then, as coach, find the tipping point where that kid has fallen in love with the sport. And you can see it. So I've got these twins, and one's Lily and one's Rosie. Rosie fell in love with the sport very early on. They're twins. This was 6 years old. Lily was about 1.5 years, 2 years later, before she fell in love with the sport. But what does that mean to us as coaches? It means that we can push them a little more without losing them to another sport. So your job is to watch for that point they fall in love with the sport, and then you can actually start teaching them. You're always teaching them bits. And part of the System 9 stuff that I do is you're teaching them bits, drip feeding information. So this is what I call now they're learning to play. So now you start teaching them the forehands and the backhands and the serves and everything else, rather than just having fun. The fun part is still there, but you kind of take away what I'm going to show you on the court to start with. When they get to a certain age, it's normally late 7. For me, that's when you can start pushing them into tournaments. So now they play to learn. I've got this on a graphic. If you go on my Facebook page or the System 9 Facebook page, you'll see it. You play to learn. And you play to learn because you need to learn to play. You learn to play because you need to play. Because you need to learn how to play. And you need to play. You learn how to play. I know Anne said something about her kids didn't understand how to play a tyre break. I have this kind of rule. I don't let my juniors play a tyre break unless they know how to score themselves. If they can't score themselves, how can they concentrate on a match anyway? I don't want a parent on the side. I mean, you're always going to have it. You're going to have a junior helping out, just to help with line calls and things. But we cover that as well in System 9. But ideally, I want them to go off and play on their own and be out scoring their own. And that's normally late 7. After that, when it gets to orange ball, green ball, then they can start to master their own game, understand what they're doing on the court, understand percentage tennis tactics. When they get past green into yellow ball, they start to, and we do it in green ball as well, they master their opponent's game. They understand what their opponent does. So if we look at the body, red ball bounces roughly waist high. About 7 years old, bounces roughly waist high. So if we think about their playing a tournament, you've got weaknesses either here, at the body, or here. It's not up here, it's not down here, it's about waist high. So you can work out on the court whether their opponent's got a good forehand or a good backhand, a weak forehand or a weak backhand. Or are they weak when the ball comes to them and they can't run around? Which is where you might start doing some little drills that Sarah Jane was doing earlier. Just feeding the ball and letting them run around, which is probably about stage 7. There's 9 stages in System 9, hence why it's called System 9. It's about stage 7 you start teaching that one. When you've mastered that, obviously you've gone through puberty. So I can guarantee by the age of 10 or 12, if they've started at 5 years old, technically they're good at everything. Some of my players have been technically good at everything by the age of 10, bar the top spin serve. That's because they're not strong enough to hit that. But definitely by the age of 12, technically they should be good. They should understand percentage tennis tactics. This ball goes there, that ball goes there, that ball goes there. And they should start to show their own strengths. And they definitely understand. I call it a tennis mind. They understand how to look for weaknesses in their opponent's game. So orange ball, where we start teaching a slice, it's not just here, here, and here. It's now down here, and down here. So there's 6 areas your player needs to work out where they're weakest. And it's not only that, it's 4 areas on the court, 4 areas here, 4 areas here. At what part, so it could be, orange court's roughly here. If they like this one, that's great. But can they handle the low one over here? And you could see that. Djokovic got told by his coach, Craig O'Shaughnessy, hit to the backhand side and draw the wide forehand out. So that was unlocking a combination. We call it unlocking the combination. Deep ball over here, and then a wide forehand. The amount of times he missed the wide forehand or set the next point up for Djokovic just to put it away to his backhand. Go watch it. That was one of his game plan. He knew how to unlock Carl Edmund. And that's what we teach at orange. So guess what at green? The ball bounces even high. It goes above the shoulder. So now we've got an extra 3 areas here. So there's 9 areas in total, along with the 12 areas on the court. It doesn't take long for a kid to understand where to unlock a combination, where a player's weaker. Everyone understand that? And this is what we teach. So we now, after they leave puberty, or they've got through puberty, which Anne covered, I call it the performing player. And the performing player is someone who carries on, wants to improve, never stops improving. I mean, I'm 47 years old, and do you know what? I think I'm playing better tennis than when I was younger. My trouble is, I'm not as fast, but I think my brain's faster, so I can understand how to unlock the combination easier. I wish I knew that when I was younger. The final one is what we call tennis for life. So I'm going to be on the court playing when I'm 90 years old, probably. Hopefully. I mean, I'm still doing all right for 47 years old, huh? Still running around the court 36 hours a week, which is not, amongst everything else, I'm writing all these books, which is available down on the front, £15. I'll even sign it. That'll make it cheaper. That'll be £10. Okay? But I'm going to take you through our systems, but more importantly, we're going to teach you how to make your players competitive and how to understand competition. And if you think about the word competitive, one of the dads at our club, I don't actually coach her, but she's not there anymore, but one of the dads at our coach says, oh, it is so competitive, she hates losing. And she gets really upset when she's losing. I went, well, that's not being competitive, that's been a spoilt loser, I think. Competitive means, and I've made Lily competitive, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, but competitive means they love the battle, whether they win or lose. If they lose, they learn from it. If they win, they learn from it. So Lily played her first competition 2 months ago, I think it was now. Might have been less than that. Her sister has been playing for over a year. Played her first tournament. She won 1, lost 3. And she said to her mum, I really loved that, I want to do it again. She only won 1. And the others were quite close, really competitive. But I've turned her into a competitive player. Which is what this does. Which is what we're going to do. So hopefully you can all see from there. Does anyone want to get up? It's really simple. It's red ball. I've got Dave on the standby if he needs it. But does anyone want to get up and do some mini red stuff? There you go. You got racket? I'm sure he can get one. Anyone else? I don't mind if there's 2 of you. Okay, you can come up as well. Very good. Let's just give him a little round of applause. Has anyone got a spare racket? You can borrow mine if not. But I need to demonstrate as well. So you can have a ball if you have a ball. Dave, you got a spare racket? Oh, there's one right there. Victor's got one for you. Stage 1 of the System 9 is very simple. I call it the rhythm of tennis. Some people call it bounce hit. One of my juniors called it popcorn. And I was just popcorn. I like that. She calls it popcorn. They can call it whatever they want. To me, it's stage 1. And I'm going to show you what it is. Just on the forehand side, and you've got to copy it. More importantly, this is the end result. This is what I want the kids to be able to do. And they can't do it straight away. This is why we have homework. This is why for the 6 days and 23 hours, they have to go work at it. Hopefully. And you can tell some that do, and you can tell some that don't. You can tell some that haven't, and then they get to the club 20 minutes early, and the parents are going, right, you practice, practice. And you can see that as well, which is all fine. But this is what it is to start with. Have a good look, okay? We don't need a court just yet. It's this right here. May look simple, okay? And I always like to demonstrate first, or set a mission, or set a task for the kids without talking too much. So you're my kids. And I wonder, and the last time I did this, it was 15 coaches, one of them got it right. Do you want to see it again? In case you get it wrong. Ready? It's this. Okay? Right, have a little go. And then have a look. You've just seen me as well. Have a look and see if they've got it right. Actually, not bad. 50%. Reed School, that's a good school. Okay, stop there. Who got it right? Okay. Not so good. But this is what happens. But as you know, kids aren't even going to be able to do this to start with. From experience, how long do you think it's going to take a kid to go like this from not playing tennis? Let's work it out. Who thinks over 2 months? Stick your hand up. Okay. Who thinks a month? Or let us say less than a month. Who thinks less than a month? No, once a week with homework. Because don't forget, they've just come to the sport. And I've been doing it long enough to know the rough answer. So who thinks less than a month? About a month. Who thinks more than 2 months? Who thinks 6 weeks? Who can't think? Nice. Do you know what? It's roughly about 6 weeks for a youngster to be able to do about 10 of these. And we set a goal. The goal is 20. They've got to do 20 on the forehand, 20 on the backhand. And I say 20 because 10's too easy. They'll do that in no time. 5 is a waste of time. You've got to set a challenging target. 20's not that difficult. Some make it, some don't. When they get to about 15, they're doing a good job. Get to 10, I'm happy, we can move on. But I always go for 20. And you'll see the keen kids that have gone away and worked at it. So, just to come back to this, here's my teaching point. We'll send the nets that way at the moment. And you obviously got this straight away. The butt of my racket is in front of my hip. Why do I want it here? Because later on, that's going to be the contact point. On the backhand side, it will be here. Later on, that's going to be the contact point. But they start like you did. The butt of the racket will be in the belly button. They'll be like this. The ball will be going all over the place. My kids know it as an L shape. I want an L shape with a butt in front of the body. What grip have we got at this stage? Chopper grip and a square stance. That's it. That's all we're teaching. Do you know what? I can do lesson after lesson after lesson. Using that, I do bring the net in at some stage. And I learnt something from Ruben at the LCA conference. I actually learnt something at the LCA conference. And it's from Ruben. And that's why I'm bringing him over. He might lie, I actually learnt something. Which I'll show you in a minute. It's fascinating. Because you always get parents say, well, why aren't my kids hitting over a net? Me and Anne were sitting next together and thought, why did we never think of that? So I will tell you that secret. It's the best thing I've ever learned all year. Okay, so we're going to have another go at that, but this is how I make it competitive. We get cones. There's loads of different ways that I'm going to... This is just an exercise, and the exercise is to get the kids to understand it. So now, the better they get, the more we start adding things like this. So all we're going to do, this is your roll. I hit my ball. Can I have your ball? Thank you very much. We're going to do exactly the same thing. Your job is to get the ball to bounce on the cone, still with the racket in front. Sometimes I get them holding the wrist here, because it might help, okay? If you manage to hit the ball in the cone, which is not as hard as it looks, okay, you put it on your racket like this, you move to another cone, you do it again. For the whole lesson, kids collect cones in teams. It's not an individual, although you will find the best individual, in teams. So it's one team versus the other team. And what I like about that is if you do really well in your team for your team, you're doing a great job, your team may lose. You're not doing such a great job, but your team won. How good is that? So it's all teamwork, but they're becoming competitive without realizing. I don't start worrying about scoring 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 until we really teach the overarm serve, which is way down. We've got to teach the underarm serve first. But we start collecting things. Kids love to collect. God, my little one's 10 years old. She still likes to collect. Come to think, I'm 47 years old. I still like to collect as well. I hoard. I got all sorts. Anyway, that's another session. Right, so let's have a little go at that. Anyone else want to jump on and have a go? You're quite welcome. And then what I want you to think about is you're going to have kids in your group that can't do this. So we need to differentiate. You can go. So once you've done that, you can find yourself another cone. So again, all I'm going to do is give you different methods for scoring. So put that on your cone. There you go. Put that on your cone. Go find another one. And so I just place these everywhere. You got it? Well, he's done that. That happens, doesn't it? There you go. That's another one. Well, I'll tell you what. If you hit that, you can have 2. There you go. What about that? Oh! But you still won ahead. Also, I could start putting 3s down. So for the people that are struggling a little more, if they hit 1, they get all 3. So you accommodate everyone. Because you're going to have weaker players, you're going to have stronger players. And when I mean stronger, weaker players, you're going to have players who have practiced and players that haven't. Simple as that. Okay, that's not a bad thing. We've done all right there. We did kind of smash it. You can keep those a minute. I've done this before. So do you know what? This was. Can I borrow yours? And that. Just come on again. I want to show you that you could do this for weeks on end. Okay, so what we're going to do, we put our cones together like that, and we're going to hit with one ball. Has anyone seen Dennis Van der Meer's? I've still got it on video. He's got progressions for teaching kids. Oh no, it was for adults actually. And I forget what it's called. We should know. We should know. You've been a member for 1987, was it? Jill Vane Temple's been a member since 1987. So we should know this, and I can't remember what it's called. Instant tennis. Well done. Dave should know this as well. So if you didn't hear that, Dennis Van der Meer had a nylon stocking and a coat hanger and was using that as a racket for this. But here you go, look. We're now going to do the same thing. Guess what? If I hit your cone, I'm going to put it on my pile. If you hit mine, I'm going to put it on your pile.
If I hit my own cone?
Then I'm going to have it as well. Let's add that, shall we? Only because you brought it up. Oh, so you get that one. But you know, I'm going to steal it back. Okay. There we go.
I've got to let it bounce, I take it.
Possibly. But again, what can I do for those that... He's good at this. What can I do for those that aren't as good?
Spread the cones out.
Well, I'm going to spread the cones out. I'm going to spread your cones out a little. Look. Oh, I'm going to put them over there. There you go. But we're differentiating, which is quite nice. Now I'm going to hit one. Have that one as well. Okay, this is what I learned from the conference recently. I love buying things. This is a net. So you always get parents, well, when are they going to hit over a net? Well, I'll tell you what. This is from a builder's yard. It's a barrier. So you can make it as long or as short as you want. And quite nice, it goes over here. There we go. Put that there. Now we've got a net. This is what I learned. I thought this was unbelievable. So if I hit one of these piles, I get the whole pile. In fact, do you want to come and do that? I've proven I'm quite good at this, so it's your turn. There you got a ball. So now we're hitting over a net. For parents who say, when's my child going to hit over a net?
And you'll still be focused on the same teaching.
Yes, the same teaching point. There's only 2 teaching points at this stage. That's very good. You're running out of cones? That's okay. Keep going. I'm going to find some more. No, I haven't got any more. I have loads. Always got a whole lot. But do you know what? Let's pretend he's run out of cones. What happens now? Because do you know what kids get upset in your lessons? Of course they would. They fall over, they cry. I call them crocodile tears. That's why I like having parents around. Go see your parent. Because they can deal with it, and they're not off for very long because they see the fun everyone else is having. So they do come back on again. But do you know what? Because you're doing such a great job, have 4 more. You don't mind, you've got loads. Carry on. There you go. I will just go around with loads. And I will congratulate people for doing well, trying hard, and obviously for winning. You're doing a great job. I don't call it winning. You're doing a great job. You've got loads for your team. Just a few more. Okay, that'll do. Stop there for a second. Now, just get rid of those cones. So this is the winning team, along with everyone else that's on the court. Do you know what? Could we have a mini tournament now with this age group, which is 5 years old? Of course we can. This is our mini tournament. What we're going to do is, this is the court. Okay, that's the land in the court. That's the land in the court. Every time you win a point, I'm going to give you a peg. So I love using pegs. And I'm going to admit I stole this from Emma Doyle, who also does a lot of stuff with kids. Every time you win a point, you get a peg, you're going to put it here. Why do I use pegs like this? They're 5 years old. They can count at the end, or they don't need to count. Who needs to count? Who needs to score? These aren't going to be out of score. But they will collect pegs. Don't forget, kids like to collect. Let's get them to collect. Right, off you go. And again, just nice backhand. That was a single-handed backhand. Look at that. Nothing wrong with a single-handed backhand. Out. So you get 1. You can put it on your, just don't put them on your ears. You find the kids put them everywhere, which is fine. They're being creative. Oh, now you're thinking, look. I love kids that think. I'll give you that one. Keep going, keep going. He's doing well. Oh, volley. I never taught him a volley. Out. 1-1. This is for the winner. One more. This is for, oh, you get a pink peg. Here we go. Look at them, they're sweating just doing this. That was out. You get that one. And do you know what? Throughout the lesson, they can start stealing pegs off each other for their team. There's all sorts you can do. We can do backhands only, forehands only. We could actually do cross court. So we'll put a line in the middle. We can do cross court. You can do a lot here. Right down to, you got the ball? Oh, I've got the ball. Right down to, we've got to teach you, every lesson you've got to throw, you've got to catch. So you've got to send, you've got to receive. Right down to I throw it, you hit it, and I've got to somehow try and learn to catch it. And as we know, we start with balloons or we start with bigger balls when we do this. But there's nothing wrong with, can you catch a minute? I would have had this set up, but we'll do it as we go along. I have this massive trolley. When I teach the kids, I'll wheel the trolley out, and it's got everything on it that we ever need. Right, there you go, right down to this. That's nice, and I'm going to throw it back to you like that. And there you go. Dave, do you string this? There you go. So, do you know what? It used to be Woolworths, but that doesn't exist anymore. And it used to be Toys R Us, but that's gone out of business as well. So it's Amazon and eBay you get all this equipment from. No, that's not mine. Oh no, I'm lying. It's wish.com. Go to wish.com. They've got all this really cheaply. How simple is this? Right, not bad. Just carry on a minute while I set the net up. I love this net. I carted this over from Hilton Head Island when I went to the PTR conference as hand luggage on the planes. You can imagine the struggle I kind of had. What the hell's that? And then trying to get into the overhead compartments of little planes. Right, can we just clear all that equipment off? Do you mind? Okay, so that's stage one, and I'm just giving you a glimpse of different scoring systems that we can use. Stage two is what I call micro-court tennis. Just one more. So micro-court tennis being very simple. Do you just want to come to this side here, but one of you go over there? So again, what I do is demonstrate first, and not to talk too much. I want to see what they can do. So I'll have a little task. Do you want to go outside? So micro-court tennis is, as it is, a little court, a micro-court. And all we're going to do now is we're going to use a net. But have a look at what I've added, which is not a lot. Ready? There we go. And it could be forehands or backhands. And do you know what? I don't mind if it's one hand or two hands. I don't mind if it's two hands this side, two hands this side. I don't mind if they go like that. I don't mind if they go like that. Who was doing that yesterday? One of the players, I don't know if you've seen it, starts like this. And when it's this side, she goes like that. Starts like this and then goes like that. Huh? Yes. Santoro. Didn't I call her Santoro? Yeah. Not you. That's Fabrice Mary. Don't confuse the two. Fabrice Santoro. But it was she. The Chinese. Huh? Yeah, Suishi. I call her Wishy. Suishi. I think that's pronounced right. But I was fascinated by the time. And she was up here like this. And there was just two double-handed backhands. Yeah, well, she used this, and a slice was unbelievable. Drop shots, the hand skills were unbelievable. But what type of coach lets that through? Who allows her to play like that? I'm going to say a very good coach. Because you know what, in this area, what's wrong with going like this, and then going like this without changing grips? Could we teach going like that, and then going like that? Of course we can. You've got to do everything. Get them to do both sides. Spend some time, because you know what? You're going to get kids that are good. And because they're good, they're going to get bored. If they're getting bored, give them something else to do. Oh, right, try this then. It's going to make you a better player. Huh? You have to say it again.
Very healthy. This is very healthy and symmetric for the ball.
Yeah, no, it's good. Good for symmetry on both sides, for sure. Okay, so let's have a go at that one. You'll notice I did a ready position and maybe a split step. Split steps for the ones that are quite good, and I might use the split step for later on. I've just added a ready position and a split step. That's it. Still chopper grip, pretty much on both sides. And it's just micro-court tennis. But this would be boring if we just hit. We've got to make it fun. Don't forget, the biggest thing was making it fun so they fall in love with the sport. We can still use pegs. We can still use the cones at this stage. Hit each other's cones. Win as many cones for yourself as possible. This one's in the book. I like this one. Okay, if we stop there, we're gonna. This is red car, blue car. Blue because you're in blue, red because you're in black and grey. Okay, this is your car. You've got to play points with each other. If the ball lands outside of the area or hits the net, you move your car up the track to the first lane. If you win again, it goes to the second lane. If you win again, it goes to the third lane where you've won the Grand Prix. If you've got kids doing this all the way along, there's a problem. The problem is these may finish before these finish, and then before they finish. So now you have to do what I call a filler drill. The filler drill, and I'll make sure everyone understands this. The filler drill is this. You've got to hit backhand to backhand only. Ready? So I hit a backhand, you hit a backhand. I hit a backhand, you hit a backhand. I hit one, you hit one. So you're only allowed to hit backhands because I want their backhands to be as good as their forehands. Right, ready?
Which one are we doing? We're doing the Grand Prix?
You're doing the Grand Prix, yes. The filler drill would be if we got loads of players, so they don't stop. But obviously you need to give them lots of drinks. So it could be until someone's made it. I'll tell you what, you two play with your opposite hands. Out, move your car. You use your normal hand. I was joking. Again, I don't hear the noise. You got to become a kid when you're coaching kids. One more, come on. This is the Monaco Grand Prix. They could also be horses or mermaids. They're not just cones. Okay, did he win? Yeah. Right, I know you're going to win this game though. So there's one. Quite good. And we're going to be stuck on this for a while for them to rally over the net. So I've got this lovely little game. Can you put 3 out that side as well? Blue. Oh, no, you're blue. Can you sway sides? Oh, yeah, I'll tell you, put them out. Change sides. Good idea. We might as well keep you on blue, huh? Okay, this is the game. I have a gold coin. What does that say on it?
Is that a billion?
It's a Bitcoin. That's a Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin.
It's worth money.
Awesome.
Bitcoin. Okay? Right, just face that way.
Yep.
I want you to put that Bitcoin under one of these cones. Anyone. We'll tell you when to turn around. Or we'll put it under that one. Right, okay. Your turn. Turn around. Face that way. Hide your one. That's where everyone puts it. Right, carry on. Right now, ready? Guess what the aim is? They rally each other, they play points, and your job's to pick one of these. So you're either going to say right, middle, or left. And you can teach them their left from their right. What is left with the L? What is right? Okay, let's go again. The more games you think of, and do you know what? I tend to find you do 4 games, then I come back to the pegs. 4 weeks, back to the pegs, back to the cones, back to something else, back to something else, back to the pegs. You know their favourite? Pegs. Can we do pegs again? No. That's later on. Oh, hello. So, you get a pig one.
Middle one, please.
Middle. Never the middle one. Not with adults. With kids, it's always the middle one. Right, go on. Let's see if we can find the cone. You got another ball? Don't forget your ready position. He's forgotten his ready position already. There we go. While you're doing that, I'm going to... Do you know, I'm just going to put this out. You done it? You found it? Very good. How simple was that game? And do you know what? With kids, the older they get, the more you can play games. Stuff like this, they'll want to play it over and over and over again. They won't get bored, which is why I like doing stuff like this. They've got a purpose. The one to get the most coins by the end of the lesson is the richest. Or the team. There's always one. Do you know what? I always go back to you've won the most. As a team, you've won the most. But there's always one who's done the best. And I'll just make a mental note. Okay, always winning, always winning. Perhaps she's going to be or he's going to be ready to that tipping point. I'm just watching out for it. It does make a big difference. So we use coins. We also use money. I've got these fake euro notes that I use. And it's who can be the richest. They tend If you go to the SYSTEM-9 YouTube page, there's how to teach the serve, single-handed backhand, double-handed backhand, and the forehand in really easy steps. Some of you may have seen it before, but they're on the YouTube page. Or email me and I'll send it to you. So you can teach kids that way as well. Right, have a little go. I'm looking for my ball tubes. There we go. Right, just to make it easier, I would get these doing it themselves. We need scorers. There we go. Oh, Martin, you can be a scorer. They would put these in themselves. Right, look. Stop there a minute. This is the scoring system. You hold that one. Okay, you hold that one. Every time, so blue team, red team, every time we do blue team, you put that in. Every time red team, you put that in. Look, I'll give you a few bonuses because you're doing well. Got it? What's the aim by the end of the lesson? Fill it up. You've got to fill the ball tube up. And do you know what I do? When you fill the ball tube up, you get yourself a little peg. That's it. So you've got one game for or one set for your team, or 1 point for your team. Right, let's go. So you're playing points out now. Half court, cross court only.
Outside only?
Yeah, outside. Well, they don't understand that, but yes. This is your... well, if you want to volley, go. Oh, that's a shame. It's hard to lob in this area. You nearly got lobbed. So that was a point for the red team. Did you put one in? And I might say, do you know what? You've got 3 or 4 minutes to do this before we change. And we'll have all the blue team on this side, all the red team on this side. That's another one for the red. You've changed it. He was winning before, now you're winning. Generally, you don't see slicing from kids until they're orange ball. But do you know what? You've got 3 types of kids. And you've got those that are just beginning and go once a week. You've got those that come twice a week. And you've got those that come 3 times a week, have individual lessons. The ones that come 3 times a week should be able to do 3 times as much as someone who comes once a week, which makes sense. Do you know, in red ball, just to show you that every kid's different, I had this German kid called Yannick. There's me working on the both back scenario, the rally from the baseline, and he kept wanting to volley. And once we taught him the volley and the serve, he wanted to serve volley. So he would serve volley in red ball. Oh my God. You should see him when he started playing matches. The only young red ball player that started serve volleying in matches. And my God, was he good at the drop shot as well. Which he did so I abandoned everything I ever did and said, right, we're going to teach you how to serve volley better. And he won tournament after tournament after tournament. Serve volleying on the red court. Guess what? You remember those pictures? I think he was a bit taller and stronger than the other kids. He must be 14 or 15 now. I think he's got bigger muscles than me. I mean, I'm not big. I play all right, but I think he's got bigger muscles than me. Right, so at the moment, the red team won. Well done. We got one. Let's do one more. Don't forget at this stage, kids can definitely add. They probably know they're 2 times table, 5 times table, 10 and 11. Probably it. Maybe some more. Depends what school they go to. So this is what we're going to do. You've got 2 dice. There's your dice. The aim of this game is you roll the dice. You've got to get to 7. So I've rolled a 6. So what have I got to roll next? A 1. But do you know what? If I win the point again and I roll it, that's another 6. That doesn't count. I've got to roll a 1. So I've got to keep winning until I roll a 1. That's a 5. You could be here all day. There you go. So you get to roll the dice after every point. First to 7. I'm just going to move this out of the way. I know you can tread on exit sponge, but let's have a go. I love these sponge ones. You all set? Oh, lovely. Oh, so roll your dice. What have we got? No, that was my one. You've got a 2. So you might roll 3 2s. There we go. Nice underarm serve. Do you know, one week I'll say do the underarm serve, one week I might say do the overarm throw. Oh, now they're getting competitive. That's out. Come on then, what you got? 4. Let's look for a 4, then we can finish. No, roll it properly. You've got big hit, big hit. 5. Well, you can see that I think some kids bitten it that side. It's get a little, they pick at it, they bite it. That's what happens, isn't it? Right, go. I don't know why. You never find that with the sponge balls. They've got little bites out of them when you've been in schools. Oh, that's nice. Right, so what do you need now? 2. He's gone for a 2 right there. Where is it? There it is. He got a 2, so he won. There you go. How simple is that? But do you know what? You can do this all the time. And guess what? If you win, you get a peg, or you get a ball to put in your cone, or you get a cone for your team. So I'll have these stands, and every time you win, you put a cone on your I've got a stand with a spike. You put it on, not one where they're going to impale themselves, but you put it on. And the team with the most cones at the end of the lesson is the winner. It makes it more fun in your lessons. The kids want to come back time and time again. And can I suggest something? Every now and again, just say, bring a best friend to the next lesson. Work it up. Say, in a month's time, we're going to do a lesson where you bring your best friend. And they will bring their best friend. They'll say, I already know I'm bringing. Do you really? Your job is to try and keep the best friend. Because they come for that one lesson, so it's got to be the funnest lesson ever. And then you try and keep the best friend to come the following week. I haven't done it yet, I've got to admit. But I'm trying it. I've not had a best friend stay yet. Although I thought 2 of them were. And I went, where have they gone? Oh, they haven't come back. I went, no, bring them back again next time. So next time we have best friend lesson, bring the same best friend back again. We'll try it again, see if we can grow the program that way. And it works. Okay, look, that's just a snapshot. I've given you 1, 2, 3, I've given you 4 stages. They're definitely 6 years old when we're doing cross-court. We're definitely working on receiving skills. Receiving skills would be this. Can we do a little rally? You got to tell me, and this is what I mean by receiving skills. The kids are good enough to think now. Is the ball high or low over the net? You understand that? So you hit it. Ready? So you got to tell me before it reaches net, high or low. Good. Good. Okay. This is what I mean by receiving skills. Can you tell me whether it's deep or short? So deep being roughly around here. I don't mind if it's roughly here. Short is it's very short. Ready? Let's go. Let's think about that. Good. So this is going to be tough. That's going to be tough to start with. And what I do with the kids, because it's tough, and when kids can't do something because it's tough, what do? Moan about it. Oh, this is hard. So why not call it a challenge? Say, right, we're going to do a 2-minute challenge. Younger kids call it a 1-minute challenge. I work with some autistic kids. I say, we're going to do a challenge. And if you work with autistic kids, they don't like something different. They like to be this. They know what they want to do. So I've worked with one kid. I said, we're going to do a challenge. There was this time I had to stop the challenge because it's too much for him. I said, can we try a challenge again? He goes, yes, let's try. And then when it's too much, we forget about it again. But call it a challenge because it's a challenge. And I get the kids, what does challenge mean? Well, it means it's hard to do. It ain't great. So let's do something hard to do and see if you can do it. So call it a challenge. I think that works quite nicely. All right, give a round of applause for these two. That was very nice of you. Thank you very much. Have we got any questions on why I taught just that little snapshot? It's a lot more than that, trust me. But what I tried to give you is the fact that a lesson starts with trying to get pegs or cones or coins or filling the tube up. They've got something to keep them occupied throughout the lesson. Otherwise, it just becomes a hitting session or it becomes I'm going to say a boring lesson. And don't forget, you're the coach who's got to make it fun so they fall in love with the sport. You're the coach who's got to keep them there from 5 years old till they're 10 years old. You can do that if you do stuff like this. The only time they're going to leave you then is if they move out of the area or they get injured. Dan Yannick plays rugby. He's still serving volleys now, great at a drop shot now, keeps breaking his arm. He had a really horrendous break. I went, great, he's going to stop rugby. And his mum goes, no, he wants to know when he can start playing again. I went, oh, my life. But he's broken his arm. And it's not, it must have been hanging like this. He goes, no, he wants to play rugby again. Now he's got to get a plate taken out of his arm, so he's off for another 6 weeks. I went, surely he goes, no, rugby season's beckoning. I went, oh, my life. But he's rugby, I don't think he plays football. Pretty sure he doesn't. Rugby, cricket, basketball, does everything. 14 years old, maybe 15. Any questions? I think it's quite straightforward, really. Just buy the book.